People always want to know what's the one thing they can do right now to change their relationship. And there's loads and loads of things that you can learn about that can change your relationship. But generally, if you're in a place where things aren't going too good, you want results and you want them like now. So without going too deep into loads of different theories and psychology and, learning all about how the brain works and all these other random things that I've done over the years, what you need to do actually is something really, really simple. So I want to give you an amazing tip that it requires nothing but just being you. It doesn't require any special skills. It doesn't require any special, degrees or intelligence. It literally requires you just showing up. So it is simple, 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 and you can do it now. So my top tip for changing your relationship, starting now, is to be grateful. And by that, I mean showing gratitude to your love, your partner, your significant other, your spouse, whoever it is, that person that you live with. Now, to explain, the reason gratitude is important is because in life, I believe that people who are appreciated always do so much more than is expected of them. And equally, in relationships, we often feel taken for granted. And what that amounts to is we don't feel seen, heard, or validated by the person that we live with. Now, whilst you might be really good at saying thank you to your significant other for the big things, the real game changer is saying thank you for the small things. And there's very famous relationship researchers called the Gottmans, and they found that in successful marriages, there were actually 5 times more positive interactions in a couple than there were negative. And the way they explain it is kind of like a bank account. So every day you need to be putting positive deposits in your love bank account so that when a negative thing pops up, you've got a bank balance there and you're not going into a deficit. Whereas, if you're not putting any deposits in and then the negative stuff comes, you're straight into overdraft. Now, this is why gratitude is so simple. And simply saying thank you to the person that you live with all the time for the littlest things, doing the washing up, taking out the trash, mowing the lawn, looking after the kids, picking the kids up from school, literally all the stuff that, it just happens, picking up a bottle of milk from the shop. These are things, in your relationship what your normal interactions are on a daily basis and what each other do. Because I think generally we fall into a routine in relationships where one of us will naturally take responsibility for certain tasks in the home. Jokingly referred to as pink jobs and blue jobs in different relationships where, there are things that are traditionally considered to be more man tasks and more women tasks. But if we're moving into a bit of more of a, gender neutrality situation, then, there will just be things that the two of you do all the time. And some days you feel like nobody's noticing. That can be an extremely frustrating situation. So not only do you need to say thank you to somebody, but a really powerful way for you to ramp up your gratitude and to make the receiver of the gratitude feels super appreciated, is to say why this is important to you. And it's best to refer that to, a trait of the person who is doing the action, because it shows them why it's important to you. So, for example, say your other half takes out the rubbish and you're like, oh, thanks. Great, you said it, wonderful, great start. But if you just go, oh, thanks for doing that, that's so kind, it's so thoughtful, it's so helpful of you, that's like a little extra gold star. And we all want the gold stars. Humans are naturally praise seekers. We love being told well done, we love being told that we're great and we've made an effort. It just makes you feel you just feel fantastic. And it's such an incredibly simple thing to do. Equally, if you're in a relationship with somebody, you can also say to them, you can give them words of acknowledgement. So, saying that you're proud of them, or that you really respect them, or, say they've come home and they've told you about something that's happened in their work day and you think, wow, you handled that like a boss. That's what you need to be saying. Wow, that's amazing. I respect you so much. I respect the way you handle this. Remembering to, look, in what they're telling you, look for these positives that you can say to them. That's amazing. This is one of the reasons I love you. Now, if you're at a place in your relationship where things are a bit fraught between you, this is going to feel hard. I get it. I've been there myself. And I would suggest to you to keep looking for the good things. And, one thing that I was taught to do was to start something called a gratitude journal. And you basically just buy a lovely notebook, pop it in your bathroom, and when each of you go to the bathroom, and have your alone time for the day, write something in that book. And, it might start off a little bit, half a dozen words, where you're just like, yeah, thanks for doing that. And, it can be hard when you're in a situation where you both feel like you're in a bit of a combat situation to start doing this. But I promise you, this is the start of the thaw of your relationship. Because, even if you can't find something in the moment, even if you can't find something that day, that week that they've done, thank them for something that's happened in the past. Maybe they took you somewhere really nice for a birthday, or they bought you something, or, something historic. Just cast your mind back to a point where they did something nice, or relate it, like I say, to some sort of admiration for them. Look for a positive character trait that they have, that you admire, that you respect, that you're proud of. It could just be that, they get on really well with your parents, and you might say to them, oh, I love the way that you get on so well with my dad. Or it could just be it can be anything. The fact is that you two know your relationship better than anybody else, and you know each other better than anybody else. So what you'll find is that initially, if you're not in a great place, your entries might be quite small, quite clipped. And what you'll find is that over time, changes. And eventually, at the start of the book, it'll be a bit, but at the end of the book, you're basically just writing love letters to each other, where, you'll have had so much more love showing up in your relationship, so much more gratitude, so much more visibility, that it'll be making the two of you feel wonderful, relaxed, happy, safe around each other. And I honestly believe that if you can practice this every single day, And it's so simple. It's so simple. Honestly, there's hundreds of things, like I say, hundreds of things that you could learn in a relationship. It'll take you a while and they'll take you a lot of emotional resource. But this is simple. This is so actionable. So if you're still in lockdown, like me, get on a reputable online retailer and order yourself a beautiful notebook that you can use for this purpose. Or if you've got one hanging around the house, if you've got a bit of a stationery problem like I do, just pick out one from your stash of notebooks. But yeah, literally get that in place. If you are the only person in your relationship who's currently making an effort, just start with the gratitude. Yes, it's great if it's a two-way street. Yes, it's great if both of you are making an effort, and obviously that's where we want to be. But equally, I understand that at some points in a relationship, there's only one of you who's making the effort. And to you, I say, A, it's amazing that you're making this effort. And it's amazing that you're doing that if the other person isn't currently making an effort. But I do believe that, the phrase, kill them with kindness, comes to mind. Just keep thank you. Just make it absolutely 100%. Even if you just, when you wake up in the morning, you're just like, thank you for doing this. It sets the day off in the right tone and the right frame of mind. And slowly but surely, I promise you, the thaw will set in and things will get easier. So please go off, try this, and then come back to me and tell me how you're doing, because I would love to hear how this has worked in your relationship. I've seen it in my own relationship. I know how transformative this is. It's literally a magic wand. So off you go. Simplest thing in the world. Feel empowered. You're ready to do this. And yeah, just let me know how you're getting on, because it's magic.